Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to Cities Skylines. It's been a little while since I have played this game. In fact, the last time I played it, I think the After Dark DLC was out, but the Snowfall DLC wasn't even out back then, and I never really had a chance to cover that, but the Natural Disasters DLC is about to release. I've got an early copy of it, so I'm able to play a bit of it and show you some of the stuff in advance. The actual game itself, or the DLC itself, comes out on the 29th of November. And the Natural Disasters DLC not only adds in natural disasters like you'd expect to find in games like SimCity, but if you remember back and if you've played any of the previous SimCities, apart from having the disasters, there wasn't really a lot you could do with them. I mean, there were various different things like tidal waves and fires and volcanoes and meteor showers and alien invasions and stuff like that, which were basically just things that came along and destroyed parts of your city, and there wasn't really much you could do about it. Obviously, you could rebuild, and the fire departments would have to come and deal with blazes and things like that, but in the Natural Disasters DLC for Cities Skylines, you actually have some pretty unique buildings. So you have sort of like disaster response buildings and aid shelters, and various different ways to try and evacuate and protect your city's population when these disasters go on. So we're actually going to go in and start a completely new game. If you do get the Natural Disasters DLC and you have any games currently in progress, you can actually enable that DLC so it works with your pre-existing cities. It is something that you can actually turn on and off. So if you have the DLC and you don't want the disasters on, you can turn that off. And I also believe you can manually set some of them going as well. There are also various different scenarios, and you can edit some of these as well, but that's not something we're going to sort of get into. So I'm going to try and find a map that we'd like to use. There are some snowy ones as well. These were added in the Snowfall DLC. But I'd kind of like something... Islands is nice. I want to try and make a city that just doesn't look awful like all of my cities always end up doing. To try and be something a little bit too different. I think we'll go for islands. Springwood is fine. We want left-hand traffic because I'm in the UK. So that makes everything make more sense to me. You know, when I look at roads and planning out junctions and turn-offs and things like that, slip roads, it just makes more sense to me if it's on the side of the road that I am used to. So I've never had to drive on the right-hand side of a road anywhere, so just wait for this to load in. I'm just generating some of the map stuff for us. But yeah, we will be starting from scratch, and I haven't really had a chance to jump in yet and mess around with any of the natural disasters mechanics and buildings, even though I have seen some of them in use. So we're just going to start instantly by pausing up the game. Obviously, we do need to build some roads and stuff like that. So this is our map. We've got a relatively little square here, but we've got a nice big flat patch of land that we can build on. So yeah, building some roads is not a bad idea. We have a little bit of money in the bank, 70k. So let's build some roads. Now, this wants us to build 2-lane roads. These are actually 3-lane roads. But it's not giving us those options here, really. I want to turn that off. Can we make you go away? Why do I have to build the section of road you want me to build? Because that's not going to be... Right, I'm just going to build a bit of road. There we go. Now we've got one-way streets, which is what we wanted. So let's go ahead and bulldoze that, because I don't actually want that road there. No, you're supposed to be bulldozing. There we go. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Fine. Okay, so let us take the one-way roads, and we're going to be going down to 2 lanes. I prefer 3-lane roads, but sometimes you just have to make do with whatever you have. So we will build a one-way road down in this direction. And we will also have another one going over here. Now, you are supposed to be able to change the direction of the roads. If I could remember what the control was for that, that would help, because these roads are currently going in the wrong direction. What is the shortcut key? You used to be able to like press Shift or Control or Alt or stand on your head or something like that. Did we just click it again? Let's deselect the road tool. Never remember. I used to know how to do this. This is why it's been too long since I've played. Let's go ahead and delete some of these road sections and just go ahead and build it in the other direction then. That's just annoying. Not being able to remember how to do it. The problem is, though, I can't line it up on the grid if I do that. Well, that's always off to a good start, isn't it? Where are my options in my key mapping? Moving the camera around. We don't want shared. We want in-game, basically. Where are we? Electricity, garbage, selecting stuff. We're not selecting. It's probably not going to be in there. Advisor panel, D-zone, land value. No, I cannot remember. I'm sure somebody's going to sort of remember, you know, tell me how to do it because I've completely forgotten. But you are supposed to be able to change the direction of a 2-lane road. So let me just go and put a 2-lane road that way, just to mark it out, and then I'm going to go and try and go over the top of it with a 1-lane road. Still won't let me do that, which is annoying, but at least now I know where we want to start. So let's go ahead and delete this bit of road here. I'm just trying to get them lined up. That's all I care about doing. So sort of there. No, not quite in the right spot. How about there? That looks correct. So I'm going to build you down to there. That should be then going in the right direction, and it is fantastic. I'm sure it'll come back to me, but let's go and get rid of that because it is all wrong. And then you can go from there all the way down and join onto that. There we go. So we have our one-way roads. And we'll probably want to get like a little sort of roundabout or something in here at some point just to join these two things up. But that's not something that I'm bothered about right away. I do really dislike the way that when you start it gives you all of this these sort of limitations. I don't like them at all, really, at the start of the game, but you do what you need to, don't you? So let's get rid of that, and I think we will just have our one-way street just joining that up. So we've got a little bit of a circle, a loop there that we can use. Let's start by getting some residential. We'll try and keep the residential down on this end of things if we can. Try and line those up, put a little bit down there. And we'll want some commercial in the middle as well. So we've got a little bit of land to use. Now let's go ahead and make sure that we have all of our utilities in place. So we'll start off by getting some wind power. And we want the sort of darker areas, really. So this would be a good spot. And let's go ahead and make sure that we've got some pylons over to our houses and so forth. So that will do for that. We're also going to need to have a water supply. Now, one thing you will notice now is this new tab for heating, because you can actually build heating plants and supply hot water directly to your houses. That's part of the Snowfall DLC. But we just want a basic water tower. Do I have that selected? Apparently I do. Not seeing it. I don't think it matters where this goes, so it could probably go over here next to the wind turbines, so we don't have to worry too much about noise. And we're also going to need, of course, a water draining pipe. We need a sewage outlet. Obviously, we want to try and have it downstream, if we can. So we're going to go and put that there. That's going to need power of its own as well. So let's just make sure we have a pylon connecting that together. And then we'll just go back and do our water pipes. So we just want the normal water pipes. We want to run from this. We'll sort of follow a grid down and go right down under the middle of the road. And all pipes contain the same... basically, there's two pipes, one for sewage and one for fresh water, so we can basically just go and connect all of that up like that. So we should be ready to unpause now. We should have most of the things that we actually need. So that's the chirper, which is something that comes up and annoys you most often. So let's go ahead and unselect that. So the economy panel is now unlocked. So here you can see we have this button for the natural disasters. You need to build shelters to be able to evacuate your people. So you've got this thing up here Fresh water finally running in the city. Green energy. Yep, so everything is good there. So we just wait until we get some people in. So we don't actually have any of this stuff unlocked yet. Now, where is the natural disasters stuff hidden? Can't even find it yet. Maybe I should have started on a city that was already partially built, but I wanted to do something nice and fresh and start from scratch. Mainly because it's been so long since I played, I wanted to be able to go and, you know, sort of remember what I was doing. It'd be nice if I could remember how to change the direction of one-way roads, because that is something that I have completely forgotten. These houses may end up getting destroyed at some point. In fact, I think they will, because what I'll probably end up doing is putting in some sort of crossroads over here. How do I rotate it? Is it with the right mouse button? It is. So some sort of... won't even let me put it in like that, which is a little bit weird. We can certainly have one that goes in that direction. But, or even one over there, actually. Yeah, so we can have these roundabouts in. That's just going to destroy a few houses. But it keeps the one-way system intact. It is still all left-hand traffic. Fantastic. So now that gives us some way to basically build more stuff. Have we got people complaining that they don't have water there? No, everybody should have water. Everybody should have electricity. So it's not too bad. So let's go ahead and we will get a little bit more residential over on the sides here. Now, we are going to need to get some industry. And usually the best way to have industry is to have a completely separate connection to the highway. But unfortunately we can't do that here because we don't own that section of road. So we might have to have our industry... Do we have another section over here? Another highway junction? We do not. So, I mean, you don't have to have industry. Industry does make you a lot of money, but at the same time, it's very, very noisy. Makes a lot of pollution as well. We could build our industry over in this corner. We might have to use the roundabout for that. So, let's not make a massive industrial area. This is just a single lane road. We don't want to have high amounts of traffic. So, we just want a 2-lane road. We're going to run this over towards this side of the map. It cost us a little bit of money, but we've got plenty in the bank. So let's bring you up here. And we'll have another section of road. Used to be a way to measure this out so that they didn't overlap, and I can't remember what it is. Is it there? Yep. So we'll bring you out to there. Obviously this area is also going to need its own power. So I think what we might do, just to make this a little bit quicker and cheaper, is just put another wind turbine or two up here. Can we afford more? Only just. We'll go and grab a pylon. Don't need to go too far with the pylons, because once these start building up their own industry, it'll be fine. So we will want to come sort of... How much industry do we want? We'll have this whole thing being industry, so we'll come up to there. We will flag for industry on all of these areas here, going right up to the end. Don't want to go right up to there, though. Where are the buttons that I can change how this paints? It is this one here, the larger one. So let's just sort of go up to... If I zoom in a little bit, it'll make this a lot easier than it is right now. And get all of that filled in there. We'll need water, of course. There's no water supply yet, so let's go and go back to water. We need some water pipes. We might as well just run the water pipes under the road. It's usually the best way to make sure you cover everything either side. And then that will fit up to there. There's going to be some problems with power. At least until some of these buildings get filled in the middle and create a connection to these ones at the end. But that will be fine. So we'll speed things up a bit, because at the moment we are literally just waiting for people to move in. I did set that as industry, didn't I? And not... yeah, I did. Just making sure I hadn't accidentally set it to commercial or something dumb like that. What have we got going on here? Power to the people. Should get there. We just need another couple of buildings to fill in between. If they're not going to get it, I could temporarily solve the problem by putting in another couple of pylons. If we do that, that'll connect the problem up. Obviously, you don't want to have more pylons than you need. But now we've got some industry going. We're still having to rely pretty heavily on this sort of one-way system, which we will do away with at some point. You know, we'll get rid of that. We are losing a little bit of money, but that will start to improve. Now we're not spending an awful lot. So you'll also notice, especially if you haven't played the Snowfall DLC, that you have this thermometer down here. So basically what happens is, as the temperature falls, there's more draw on the city's power because people are using their heaters. They're turning on their heaters to get warm. So what you can do, if they're draining the power too much, you can actually build heating plants and provide the heating to them directly. It's not something I've messed around with yet, but it might be something that we need to do later on. They're actually still locked at the moment. So there's a boiler station and there's a geothermal heating plant. You need to get a population of 2,200 to unlock either of those anyway. So we're not really all that concerned about those. Water, we may run short at the moment, but our water availability seems good. There are some new policies that you can actually enact with regards to the heating, so you can specifically tell people when and when they can't use their heating. And yeah, we're going to be getting new things, so we can get loans, taxes, we can now get healthcare and education. So we can build schools and clinics and landfills and things like that. And they are things that we will need. So we do have a little bit of money still in the bank. Let's just make sure we build a road out in this direction, because we are going to need a few things. We're definitely going to need a landfill. And that can go over here next to the industrial stuff. So that should be okay there. Do I need to do anything with it specifically? No, it's working all of its garbage trucks. That should be fine. And we will want some more residential sort of going off here. So let's go and build like a sort of... And again, I keep saying to myself, I don't want to constantly build everything on grids. And then I go and constantly build everything on grids. And there will come a time one day when I stop doing it. But today's not that day. So let's get all that connected up. We can do something else sort of in between. These doesn't have to be quite so pretty. You know, if I wanted to, I could just go and do something really obnoxious like that. Just to try and make things look a little bit different. And we could even go and have an extra connection on the roundabout. There's no reason why not. But this is going to be more residential housing. Let's go and make sure we've got residential on these inner blocks. That actually worked out quite nicely for me. We'll do these bits as well. And again, they're going to need power and water. We don't have to go too far with the water with these ones. But let's run, again, down the roads. Running down the roads always makes the most sense. That's not quite down the middle of the road, but it's probably enough. And you can just run down the middle of the road as well. Can you not go down there? Because there's already a pipe in the way there. That's the reason. So that's that all connected up. What about the electricity? So we're starting to get some houses down here. Again, these should get power if these places fill in between. I'm going to hold off on putting pylons in at the moment. We may actually get enough houses spring up to allow me to do that, which would be a good thing. And I wonder how many, how much population you actually have to get before you are able to build one of these disaster shelters. I haven't seen one yet. Is it under healthcare? Is that it there? It's a hospital, cemetery, that'll be the crematorium. That is a sauna. So again, that's something that was added with the Snowfall DLC. And then there's the medical helicopter depot as well. We can't even afford a medical clinic. We've got very, very low money at the moment. Though we do have some money coming in. It says you don't have water. Because apparently I misclicked on connecting up the pipes somewhere. My bad. There we go. There's the water connected up. But we're still lacking on the power. Only just. If you guys could just see yourself clear to moving slightly over there. We'll do it ourselves, I suppose. Let's do it from there to there. So now those houses are going to have power. Once we get more houses in that fill the gap, we can go ahead and remove those pylon sections. I do like how these pre-made roundabouts do actually have some trees in the middle, which is quite nice. Everyone generally seems happy. So on electricity, water we're doing fine. So I think what we can do on the budgeting panel is we can reduce the water down. There used to be a way to do both of these together. It's not right click. Is it shift and drag? Is it control and drag? Is it alt and drag? I'm sure there used to be a way to get both of them to move together, but I just can't remember what it is now. So let's put the water water budget down to 80%, because we have quite a bit of water, so that might save us a little bit on taxes. Yeah, we're still good on the water right now, so that is fine. And then on taxes, we will put up the residential just a little bit. We should have everything on at least 10%, I think, just to sort of get it going. Now, obviously, I do want to sort of be able to show off the Natural Disasters DLC, so I'm going to be trying to build quite quickly, but at the same time, I don't want to just be constantly having to build things. I want time for the city to recover, to actually make profit, to get more residents, to actually start to grow, because we don't have an awful lot of demand for anything at the moment. Looks like the industrial area could do with some more staff. Now, we could build a road that comes directly from here and connects up to the industrial area. That would certainly give traffic coming from out of town a quicker way to get in. Unfortunately, though, traffic that is coming... yeah, we are going to have to destroy somebody's house to do this, sadly. But the unfortunate problem with doing this... That's a straight line and it destroys a building. The unfortunate problem with doing this is any traffic that's coming out of the industrial district back down this road then has to sort of go all the way around this residential block, which is not going to be ideal. Again, these houses are showing they don't actually have power. Well, we do have enough power available. I'm not sure why they're having all brownouts. We are definitely connected to the power grid here, people. Electricity availability apparently is not great, though. Let's go ahead and put in another turbine. We're really sort of running through our money. Now, why aren't you guys getting power? Is there a power line down or something that I haven't spotted? That's going away now. Whatever the issue was, apparently it's not an issue anymore. So we'll try and sort that out as quickly as we can. Getting a nice bit of rainfall here. And people do like the green energy, so that is good. I never really read this thing, if I'm perfectly honest. I mean, there is a way to sort of configure it. Oh, you can just change what it looks like. I like this little hazmat guy. Let's have him. He'll be cool. Especially if we get a disaster. I like that. That's cool. So, what are we waiting for? We need some more commercial. Well, we can certainly go ahead and get a little bit more there in the middle. That's not a bad idea, so let's go ahead and do that. We are making money, surprisingly. No one's more surprised than I am. We've almost reached the next population milestone as well. So, everything seems to be going well here. We are going to need some medical for the residential. We're going to need some schools also. I'm actually a little bit surprised that we are not getting more people moving into the residential areas up here. Put a little bit more in there. And I think we might... Actually, I might just make those for commercial. Just around the... Well, that one's now... There we go. Because they're around the roundabout, we'll leave that for the commercial area. What have we got going on? Buy a helmet. You never know what will happen. So I wear mine all the time. Right. Okay. A bit uncomfy when sleeping. Well, yes, I can quite imagine. So what do we need to do to hit this next one? We need a... we've got Little Hamlet. We need a population of 800 to become a worthy village. We're already at 761. So we are very close to being there. That'll allow us to buy a new bit of map. So we will get police department, unique buildings, new policies... let's have a look. Tiny Town. Tiny Town gives us some other policies, new types of path, canals. I've not even built canals myself, so it'll be interesting to do some of that. New parks, high schools, Japanese gardens, fresh water outlets. Boomtown. Boomtown gives us only electricity for heat. So, or no electricity for heat. So these are policies that you can act like extra installation, so houses aren't as cold. There we go. We've got the Worthy Village one. Let me just unpause that because I want things to keep going. What's the weather doing now? Is this rain or snow? That's incredible. We are in April. It shouldn't be snow, surely. Let's go and have a look back at what I was doing there. I just wanted to see where the natural disaster buildings are. Cargo terminal. They've got to be before you get to this. Solar power plant, harbour, cargo harbour, nuclear power plant, airport, international airport. Yeah, I can't see the natural disaster buildings on any of these. Metro station, incineration plant, deep space radar, fire watch tower. Some of them are here, like large emergency shelter, earthquake sensor, tall radio mast, fire watch tower. So certainly some of these things are the right ones. But I'm still not seeing a lot of them. Oil power plant, police headquarters, bus station, marina, skate park, fire helicopter depot. I must admit there's quite a lot of new stuff in here that I am not familiar with. So I'm quite excited to play with a lot of this stuff. Water pipes with heating pipes. So you can actually have like an all-in-one pipe as well. So that is quite nice. Geothermal heating. Small emergency shelters. There we go. So that's when we reach Boomtown 2200. So a small shelter to allow your citizens to be safe from disasters. A shelter has a limited amount of space for citizens, but you can choose which areas use which shelter by planning escaped routes. After a disaster, citizens who have lost their homes can live in the shelter until they find new housing in the city. Shelters are almost indestructible. So basically it's a bunker. Then you've got the radio mast, which allows emergency broadcasts to reach your citizens. The better radio coverage a city has, the more likely citizens are to come to shelters when called. Terrain can hinder radio signals. And then you've got the disaster response unit. The disaster response unit sends out helicopters and trucks carrying personnel to clear rubble and rescue survivors. They handle both disaster aftermath and burn down buildings. After a response unit has done their work, the ground is free for rebuilding. So we can't do that until we reach Boomtown, which is 2,200 citizens. So at least now we have a goal. We know what we need to get to be able to do that. Let's just have a quick look at electricity is still fine, water is still fine, especially with the amount of rainfall that is coming down right now. Apparently we need a little bit more commercial, not too much, but let's go ahead and put some in here around the roundabouts, I suppose. Always a good spot to put more commercial in. We can set districts now, so we'll need to do that later on. One thing that I didn't look at is somewhere around we do have unique buildings. Yeah, we've got quite a few new things in here as well, I think, that I haven't seen before. But yeah, we've got quite some population to go to reach all of these things. But I am excited to be playing this game again. Like I said, it has been a long time. Still some power issues going on over here at the back. I really don't understand why. We have enough power. It says they're disconnected. They really shouldn't be. You are on the grid. Why are you telling me you don't have power? Really don't want to have sort of pylons bridging gaps like this, but you are getting some of you are getting connected up, but there's definitely some sort of issue going on. No, you definitely are connected. Let's go ahead then and get another wind turbine. We can get one over here. We'll just have to have these things everywhere, apparently. And we'll connect you up to that corner. So I suppose it's always a good idea to have some redundancy with your power, because if you have natural disasters, if things start getting destroyed, the last thing you want is for your whole city to end up in darkness because one row of pylons gets taken out, or one of your turbines gets taken out, or something like that. I must admit, the game does look increasingly more pretty with the weather effects, and when you consider this game is made in Unity, it really, really is fantastic and does look amazing. But we're getting up on population. We are just over 1,000, so we're about halfway there now. We are making good money. We do need services. That is certainly true. We need schools. That is a very good point. If we put an elementary school in here, it will pretty much cover most of the residential area. So let's go ahead and put in an elementary school. And that's increased the happiness. We need a police station. We need a fire department. We also need a medical centre. We can afford it. If we go ahead and put that in on the opposite side, again, that should be able to serve most of the residential area. And keeping people happy is always good because it makes more of them move in. But I think that is probably a good place to end this video. When we come back next time, we'll continue to build up the city, and hopefully we'll be able to start seeing some of the things we can do with disasters. Apparently, and it's not something that I have, again, messed around with myself, but there is a way to actually manually enable the disasters from what I hear. So we do still have the advisor on. But that is something that we will do when we come back next time. So I'm going to pause things up there. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you're going to enjoy this series of City Skylines. I'll see you next time. And until then, goodbye for now.